Hello, everybody. There are very legitimate concerns about and criticisms about Cyberpunk 2077, especially if you have it on PS4 or Xbox One. However, for maybe 2 weeks now, I have been barraged by articles upon articles about the game that have the weirdest and most pointless complaints possible, mostly from journalists. So I thought I was gonna just collect them all into one big group and make one big video on the most pointless possible complaints about Cyberpunk 2077 that I saw circulate in big media. Now, I have seen some people act funny as well with just how much they overhyped it themselves and what kind of posts they made on Reddit and Steam forums, but I am not including regular people. For the most part, I'm only including journalists. So, how about let's start from Cyberpunk 2077's genital customization options leave a lot to be desired by Nathan Grayson, I believe I think it's from Polygon, honestly? I thought he was a Kotaku employee. My thought here is, there could be a lot more options. There could be a scar option. We have circumcised and uncircumcised. What about, oops, half circumcised? Like crunch berry flavor. How many options do we want? Do we want scars? Do we want freckles? Do we want to change the size of labia? Do we want inflation slider? Yeah, no, that's you, mate. I was okay with that penises in game, honestly. But that's, you do you do you, journalist. That is definitely the kind of things that you should be writing about when a new video game comes out, and not something, more reasonable, like, for example, PS4's performance issues. Let's no, penis sliders. Someone on CDPR staff snuck in a reference to the far-right black crime stats meme into Cyberpunk 2077. According to NCPD statistics, this model is found in as many as 17% of reported accidents in Night City, despite making up only 2% of all registered vehicles. Now remember, statistics are racist. Then there was this complaint that rated M games shouldn't have had mature elements. Hey, gaming industry, if your video game includes depictions of suicide, sexual violence, etc., then your video game needs to have a content warning before you start playing. There's no excuse for this. High impact themes, sex, violence, and references to sexual violence. 18+ restricted. US games don't have that. They just say I'm for mature. Mature 17+. And it also lists why. Next. Blood, intense violence, nudity, sexual content, strong language, use of drugs and alcohol. Effectively, mature rated game had mature themes. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Well, obviously not people who didn't want mature game to have mature themes. A lot of these people are also okay with The Last of Us 2 having had mature themes, but not Cyberpunk. They believe that Cyberpunk exclusively should have, had an extra warning for that. That's... What? It just kept on coming! I mean, it just kept on coming. Then we have the transgender community has declared that purchasing Cyberpunk 2077 is an act of transphobia. They're asking everyone who purchases the game to donate $70 to a transgender individual as a form of reparations. You're about to buy Cyberpunk 2077. You owe a trans woman $70. Why? Oh, because they had a dick girl in one of the ads inside the game. Despite the fact that that's very Cyberpunk universe where you can just switch your body parts the way that you wish. So there's actually a lot less stigma attached to that in their universe, because that's just how they go. They swap out eyeballs. So they can swap down genitalia too, but use that in actually show she-males in a video game, and apparently you become transphobic. So supposed to make sure to never include trans people inside your game, or people with mismatched genitals for that matter, because then you're transphobic if you do, transphobic if you don't. And then of course some journalists were afraid to type cyberpunk. It's a scary word. It's a swear word. Ask any of the few journals playing Cyberpunk right now about their physical and mental state as they try to meet the embargo. To tell you that they're dead. They're not even mentioning the fact that they're technically the lucky ones. So many will be crunching all of December. Cyberpunk is so reflective of the worst parts of gamer culture. Eager to be edgy, racist, and swear it's not political. And as a bonus, there is now an itch.io bundle going for Be a Better Cyberpunk. What's so bad about Cyberpunk 2077? CD Projekt Red? Exploitative labor practices, transphobia, racist stereotypes, epilepsy danger. I think that they actually fixed the epilepsy bit. That was like one of the weird and funny things where someone didn't think about the fact that modeling an in-game machine of a machine used to induce seizures wouldn't do seizures. That was a big brain moment. I had a nice laugh out of that. Thankfully, I don't think a lot of people got hurt by that. It's just that one person that writes articles about these kind of things had to test it out, and they did have a seizure, but they had their husband on hand because this is the kind of job that they do. So that was caught, and that was being fixed. So what can you get in Be a Better Cyberpunk bundle for $60? Well, first of all, you're supporting LGBTQ+ and BIPOC communities, and you can get such amazing things as the Queer album. That's not even a game. It is an album. Or Flaming Million, which is a browser-based game made for Glitches or Queer Jam 2020 that are free to play. Yeah, I know, right? You want an actual game? How about Dinosaurility? It has an average gameplay time of 10 friggin' minutes. Isn't that enticing for $60? Wouldn't that be money well spent in comparison to buying a AAA game? But anyways, folks, I hope that I have shown you the weird parts of the internet that have been floating around on my Twitter for quite a while now. Not all of the complaints are invalid. Once again, I want to make a video specifically dedicated to the PS4 and Xbox One, and whatever's happening over there, and whatever's happening with the refunds for whatever's happening over there, and whatever kind of statements they made on that. But there are valid complaints, and then there's this. And from journalists especially, what I have been seeing was a lot of this. And a lot of this is actually making people believe that Cyberpunk 2077 is a bad game that failed, despite recouping their production costs on pre-purchases alone. So, yeah, that's an amazing failure. It is really weird that we have decided that a game has failed based on genitalia customization and trans people inside of games. It's like media didn't really want CD Projekt Red to succeed. So whenever it's like, oh, they're still actually being a successful company, you kind of get called the fanboys. So you are made to feel like you're one of the rare ones actually enjoying the game when you go on the internet. And yeah, I imagine it has bugs and glitches. I haven't ran into many, honestly. And yes, it is hard to run and hardware intensive, and yes, whatever's happening on the old gen consoles is absolute shitfest. And yeah, somebody made a really, really bad decision and included a machine that can cause seizures into a game. And lo and behold, it caused seizures. But if you're gonna complain, this ain't it. This ain't it. And this is like the majority of what I have been seeing. Now, worth mentioning from main media. Small people are smaller, they're harder to catch, they're harder to see, their complaints are harder to register. Main media aren't amplifying the small people's voices when they're having their troubles. Main media is like on a cloud of their own, just floating over there. And this is precisely what I kind of wanted to call out. So, thank you for staying around for my ramble. All of the links are in the description down below. If you like my content, please subscribe, and toodaloo.